Dang. Never
Oh,
mind. Never. Snatch still.
wow.
Oh, man. GG's. Well played. And Anthony Alvarado has won again. Another Patreon in the books for the SJC FLC champion. What is up, Go World? It's me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another Go Format video. Patreon Patreon World Championship qualifier number 27 is in the bag, and guess what? I got the real one back in the building again. Mr. Double A, the winning machine, the champion of champions, has returned to the winner's circle yet again with another victory in Patreon World Championship qualifier. I have none other than Anthony Alvarado with another victory. Please, Champ, say what's up to the people again, Nate. I mean, you're always here because you keep winning. Like what's going on, man? How you living out there? How's your holidays? How's everything going with you?
Hey JDZ, hey Goat World, happy to be here, back in this winter circle. Just like you said, I mean, the plan is to be on JDZ and goatformat.com's YouTube video all year long.
I don't.
I'm
I bet it
excited
can happen.
about.
I bet it can happen, man. But I just want to
Well,
say first off, and I just want to say congratulations again for securing your invite to the Goat Format World Championship. Just talk to us real quick about how that feels, because usually, and I'm not trying to call you out to talk crap in any way, but usually you're waiting to the very end. You're the guy who's punching people in the face, jumping over tables, trying to get that invite. But you were one of the very first people to secure your invite to the championship this year. Talk to us about that and how that feels, and what does that mean for you going forward in the rest of the season.
Yeah, so it's a great start for me. Like you said, typically I am chasing the invite halfway through the year. It's not the easiest thing to come across, so I'm glad to get it out of the way. But I think this year my goals are different than any year prior. This year my aim is at the Player of the Year. It's to
Mm.
consistently top. It's not to fool around with wrong meta decks or make the bad choices going into tournaments. I'm looking to win as many events as possible, accumulate as many points, and show out as Player of the Year. Shout out to AJT this year. He showed out, went to some real life events, and he performed well across the board. So my goal is to just perform, and on top of War League, on top of the Championship of 23, I just want to perform at every tournament to the highest level. So.
I believe you can do it, man. I think if you really applied yourself, I think you could do it because, like you said, you do have the skills and you do have a knack about analyzing the metagame and putting a diagnosis on it and showing up with the best deck available for that event. And you just so happen to do that again with this event. So I'm going to pull up your deck right now. So here is the deck that Anthony Alvarado took to this event. He was playing the Warrior strategy. So as I mentioned before, you're very well versed. You can play a lot of different decks. You're not just pigeonholed into one strategy over the other. But I've noticed that you have this innate ability to be able to say, okay, hey, here's what the field is probably going to be, and here is the best deck that can counter what the field is going to be. Just describe to the GOAT world without, I know you're an active player and you got a lot going on, like you say, you have aspirations and goals. Without giving up too many of your own trade secrets, explain to the GOAT world how that process works and what are some of the driving factors that you go through to make those calls and show up with the best deck available.
Yeah, absolutely. So, taking it back just a few weeks ago, we just finished the format World Championships, and you know the metagame breakdown for that displayed quite a heavy favorite of Chaos Turbo decks being played by the top level players. I think it was close to 47 or just above 50% of the field. So, immediately thoughts come: do you want to enter a tournament dealing with Chaos Turbo mirror matches? Or do you want to actually try to bet against half the field? Um, I felt it was the best decision to play against half the field with an advantage of playing Warrior in the game one matchup. And at the same time, Warrior mirror matches are a lot more skilled than people think. So if I'm betting on half the field, me getting a plus game one, I'm betting that I can also outplay someone in the mirror match when it comes to timing solemns, which monsters to summon, which monsters not to summon. I think it's a lot of timing in the Warrior mirror match. So about 70% of the field right there, I'm basically at an advantage if I consider myself head to head against a Warrior player or against a Chaos Turbo matchup. So I think those type of thoughts go into your mind when you look at the metagame breakdown. Last week was Patreon World Championship or Premium World Championship qualifier 26. I also brought Warrior, a slightly different package, but this package that I brought here Was a little bit more towards what I expected in Chaos Turbo. Shout out to Soul Master Matt, Team Safari Zone. He had this exact build. 54 out of the 55 cards I used was his build from Patreon, or excuse me, PWCQ number 23. I made one change to his build, the side deck. I was not a fan of My Body as a Shield at number 26 event last week,
Mm.
so I decided to take it out and add a Zing Zang Hu in order to prepare myself for the Warrior Mirror match. I feel like it's a good lockdown card that forces them to have an answer, and if they can't drop a Mobius or if I can plug some Dust Tornadoes, they end up in a bad spot against me in a head-to-head matchup. So that's some of the mindset I went into this event. I didn't think Control, despite its great performance at the World Championships, was going to carry over to Patreons. I think the lull of a few weeks after World Championships, heading into the Patreons, noticed that a lot of people were uncomfortable playing Go Control. A lot of decision making, a lot of technical skill goes into it, and it wasn't as lateral. The moves weren't as linear. A lot of play errors cause people to sort of jump off the control matchup and back to their comfort of Chaos Turbo and Warrior. So I took advantage of that, and this event I went 6-1, losing one time in the grand finals and then recovering with a win over Spelvin. So it was a good performance over the weekend. So a lot of 2-0s, a couple of 2-1s.
I enjoy. We did have a stream. We were able to capture some of that on the top eight, and I enjoyed seeing it. So, is there any looking at this deck? Like I said, it's a very clean, very precise warrior deck. This is kind of where the Warriors are going, maining the triple dust shoot, maining the triple trap dust, or excuse me, dust tornado, maining the two Sakuretsu and the mirror force triple, obviously triple solemn judgment in the trap lineup. Is there? Look, you mentioned the lack of control. Is there a player that you when you're submitting your decks and you're having your list in? Is there any player that would make you resubmit something last minute if you see that they join the event, or are you just going to keep your plan in place as it's already been predetermined going into it, or would you change something last minute based on an individual player, or how many players would it take for you to make some sweeping changes going into that event?
Yeah, that's a good point. So similar to analyzing the metagame for the events of past, you look at the bracket, and I'm one of the people who submit late purposely. I look to see what ratios I'm going to toy around with my deck construction. So I remember the last time for the PWCQ number 25, I had mentioned that I switched out a Trap Dust Shoot for a Sakuretsu armor because Luke has joined. I do look at the top level players. When I see the SDLs, the Lebownies of the world, when I see Ivan, the AJTs, I start to question how many turbo matchups against top players I'll be up against, how many warrior matchups I'll be up against. I noticed that this event, I didn't see the likes of JCVD
Mm.
necessarily, so that's one great control player out of the way. Geist wasn't a part of the event, so that's another great control player. So the likelihood of me running into a control player in the later rounds, if I'm expecting to start off 3 or 4-0, it's slimmer. So I'll make the decision to not main deck a Book of Moon or not main deck the third Sakuretsu armor. But when I start seeing a heavy representation of top level warrior players, I'm more likely to main deck more Saku. So in this particular event, highlighted players like Labouni and SDL, and I'm naming a bunch of Rampage players. They typically enter all of the events, just like I do. So I saw that they were on. I assumed they'd be on Warrior packages. Claire, my teammate, he actually messaged me that morning and said, "Hey, I'm planning on playing Warrior. I'm tired of the Chaos Turbo Mirror match. Do you have any suggestions?" And I showed him my list from the week before, and he showed me Soul Master Matt's list. And I said, "Look, to be honest, I'd go with Soul Master Matt's list. It's a lot more steady as it goes versus playing the upstart that I played the week before."
Mm-hmm.
That said, he submitted with Soul Master Matt's list, and I said, "You know what? I made the argument that that's probably the most consistent build going into this environment, so I should probably play the exact same thing." And I did, and it turned out that he and I played in round 3. I got the better of the mirror match, again, based on experience, not anything against Reclair. He has less experience with Warriors. But to your question, the more players that you see that are high level with a specific deck type, if you're expecting to succeed, you're going to have to go through them. And I was prepared to go through them with the Warrior package. So
Okay.
some of the ratios definitely played into those choices, the players.
What are there okay? Are there any cards in this deck that is currently constructed that you didn't perform well that you wouldn't necessarily consider running again if you had to play this event again?
If I were to enter this event again, it'd be the exact same list. Like a lot of times, some people hold back and say, I may change one or two cards. No, I think Soul Master Matt went 6-0 with this list. I went 6-1 with this list. I think the list performs very solid in this environment.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
but with that said, if the meta were to shift where more representation of warriors were present, the cards that you technically play around with are the number of Kaikus, you play with the number of Trap Dust Shoots, the number of Dust Tornadoes, the number of Sakus. Uh, Spots. I don't think you can risk not playing at least one Ninja. I don't think you can risk playing the one level 2. Uh, Even if Chaos Turbo dropped from half the field to 30 to 40% of the field, it's still such a good versatile card to have in the toolbox. So those are your voting spots. So for all those out there taking notes, maybe a Kaiku, maybe a Saku, a Dust Tornado, and a Trap Dust Shoot. Those are your flex spots. You can play with those. I know some people are anti-torrential in an aggro matchup, but I think it's such a solid solution to any type of burn, alternative win
Mm.
strategy, and spies that you have to sort of keep the Toronto tribute around. But a lot of people flex on that spot too. But those are your choices. Just like Chaos Turbo has a few flex spots, Warrior I think is built very solid as it is today, and you have to take advantage of those flex spots based on the metagame.
Okay. Okay. And same goes for the side deck. I see you got those kinetics in there now. You got those kinetics. You got the brains, and you got the Mobius in there. So that how those kinetics treat you this weekend?
The kinetics were great. They were great for me and against me. A couple of times I saw them, I got a little, my heart skipped a beat. Said, "Uh oh, this could be a problem." Um, I'll say that the kinetics performed well in the sense that they serve similar purpose to Spy.
Mm.
Um, I did expect some Berserk Gorillas to come at me, so that was the one caution I had. So when you play against a strategy that may come in with triple Berserk Gorilla or Call the Haunted, you gotta be very conscious of how you use your rare forces and your Sakuretsu armors. A lot of times people will flex a Saku against a Ninja or a Kaiku or a Blade Knight, and those are typically answered with your own monsters, whether it's crashing one into another or just walling them out. You do that with the kinetic. The Bazooka is the one thing that the kinetic cannot wall out. So be very conscious of how you use your Saku's mirror forces. Those who are trying to become better in the warrior matchup, just prepare to conserve your resources and understand how you use your spells and traps.
Okay, okay, there you go. And you heard it from the champ, folks. I'm so glad when I get Anthony come on the studio. Hopefully, he keeps coming by because I always pick something up. He's always spitting pure game. So make sure if you want to get better at this game or playing the warrior deck, make sure you listen to what the champ has got to say. And speaking of breakdowns, well, you guys got a special treat for you guys today because we're going to do a breakdown of an event, or excuse me, of a match that happened in this particular event. The champ's going to run through some of the lines that he took and explain why he did certain things for this particular match. So if you guys are interested, make sure you stay tuned, keep it locked. As always, make sure you go and like and subscribe first for the champ while we're transitioning over here. Are you ready to do this, champ? We're going to pull up the breakdown. All right, so here we are at the replay. This is Anthony Alvarado in the red corner. Rabbit, shout out to you, Rabbit, as well. He's in the blue corner. Dope player. Okay. So this is round 5 of the winner side of the Patreon World Championship qualifier number 27. Rabbit versus our winning player Alvarado. So spoiler alert, you already know how it's gonna go. But let's just see how it's broken down, and you just tell me what plays you would have done or what lines you would have taken, and see if they match what the champ would have done here. So going first, RPS coming in. I love the likewise. I might start stealing that. I did take the GG1, GG2. I did steal that from you, by the way. But now I like the likewise. I might have to start incorporating that into my lingo as well. So you win the RPS and you get to go first, which is amazing, obviously. And the replays, if you don't know, if you're just following this, the replays are made available to every player, so any player can see. So at this point, Rabbit does know what Alvarado is playing, and Alvarado does know what Rabbit is playing based on what has taken place prior to this event. So you open up. This hand's not great. Just looking at it, this is Brown Town, but your opponent is looking pretty bad over here too. But you're sitting at Brown Town, but you are going first. So looking at his hand, oh man, I think I'm man. I honestly don't know what I would do here because you can sink your ship right away on the very first turn. But I got this BLS. Okay, you got this Blade Knight. You got this Kiko. I guess setting that light and dark up right away and getting that BLS online as soon as possible is probably the priority. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's likely the priority, right? You want to be able to clear enough damage between when you see combination of cards like Ring of Destruction, Breaker, and BLS. You're automatically looking for the OTK, and what I mean by that is you're looking to be able to hit one time directly. You're looking to Ring of Destruction for that second piece of the damage, another 25% of the life points. You got Breaker clearing the back row for BLS to come and close the game out. So immediately when this game starts, I know my opponent Rabbit's on Chaos Turbo. I know the recent Chaos Turbo builds, as they're constructed, don't play Solemn Judgment. I, like you said, watched a few of the replays. So I have sort of a mindset going into this game that I'm going to be able to close out so long as I can prevent a spy from resolving in the first few turns. Okay.
Okay.
So that's my immediate thought. So in this position, a lot of players tend to perhaps summon a Blade Knight and set Ring of Destruction, or just set Ring of Destruction and pass. With as many Browns as I have, I'm thinking I have to summon a monster to keep the pressure on and get that clock going with a second summon next turn. And most players will set Ring and probably summon Blade Knight. And the reason behind it makes sense. That's to freeze out any flip effects. So if my opponent is on Deco, Knight Assailant, or Magician of Faith, they're likely not to want to set that card, and they'll just leave Blade Knight open and ready to just hit them directly for 16, right?
Right.
The ring obviously protects me from Breaker, so I feel like I'd be in a good spot doing that. However, what it doesn't allow me to do is identify the graveyard or hit the graveyard as soon as I want to freeze him out. So I elected to actually summon Kaiku set Ring, knowing that I had exiled as my solution to a set monster.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, so the mindset here is if I can get him to set pass or set, I can exile hit for 18. On the following turn, I can Ring a Destruction, or excuse me, I can ring anybody who comes at him, let's say a Tsukimi, but I can possibly summon a Blade Knight and get double aggressive, and if he has an answer, I go Breaker into BLS for game with the ring.
Okay. But he goes upstart, sets the spy, sets the wing, throws it over. Getting that duo is pretty clutch. Okay. Duo's coming in. So you're probably going to rip that.
Yeah, so you duo first here just in case that set monster is a Sangan, so you don't let him grab the Sinister, even though it's risky knowing there's a Kaiku. He could have a real trap back there, so you want to make sure you limit his options, whether it's a Knight Assailant or a Serpent.
Stick to the plan, and he go ahead and just absorbs that 18, keeping that wing blast down. Not bad.
So when he takes this 18, I'm thinking that's a discard trap, and he doesn't have discard follower. So right away, I'm reading Regeki Break or Wing Blast. Since I saw the replays, I know it's a Wing Blast.
Nice. Sets another one. Okay.
Since I hit the actual spy, I'm hoping this is just a deco, and I'm okay with trading the deco for a Kaiku. They always say, would you rather have a deck of 40 Kaikus or 40 decos? And this is the argument you make, because if it's a deco, it's just drawing you a card while Kaiku's actually coming to the top and hitting them, right? So, unfortunately, this is a spy. So now I'm sitting here staring down the spy, which is the last thing I wanted to see, but it is something I'm willing to put up with.
Yeah, this is bad. This is a bad spot because usually you'll have a way to kind of clear up the one spy, but just the second one is always an issue, I think. Okay, so you're drawing. Sorry, go ahead.
My ring being down is a solution to one of the spies. To your point,
right?
So at this point, I'm banking on either a premature call to get the exile back, or I'm looking for a DD War Lady, Rhoda, or Ninja, or my own tribe to sort of clear out the field here. So any of those are game shots because I can discard the light, drop the BLS, and for 46 plus the ring for game. So.
All right, what about holding the Solemn here? Well, can you talk about that play? Just keeping the Solemn in hand there.
So holding the Solemn there was one of two things. My Rabbit was inactive the prior two turns, and because he has no offensive take, it's possible he's still holding on to a Heavy Storm, and to set my Solemn when you don't need it, just puts me at risk where my ring for BLS for game is more challenged, right?
Okay.
So until he sets a back row, I don't feel comfortable setting my solemn. So at this point, now I know when I have trap dust shoot, I'll be able to see the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll be able to decide whether or not it's worth solemning or just letting the heavy resolve and ringing um, his spy. But I didn't have to force solemning and then ringing the spy and just lose a solemn for no reason.
Gotcha. Makes sense. See, hold on to your traps sometimes, kids. Think about it. Just hang on to them every now and then. So you're gonna hit this dust shoot. This is a potent dust shoot, and the sim back here. Oh, I mean that tribe is kind of bad. I mean the BLS is dead. Night Assailants, they're all. I mean I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the champ takes back here. Sims back that
Well,
tribe.
well, the tribe is not dead necessarily, right? So he
What?
is stalling the field with the spies, but if he were to summon spy and I allow priority, he can always toss the Night Assailant to call Spellcaster, which wipes the field.
Mm-hmm.
But then that Night Assailant resolves to get back to that 2000 wall for him in the graveyard.
Got it.
While he flips, the Night Assailant is technically alive because the spy would be in there for.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay, so in this position here, I'm looking at my position, and I know that I saw Snatch, Tribe, Night Assailant, BLS. My read is that what he actually had was a Night Assailant, and there's two ways I can deal with this. I can summon, and if he were to clear my board, then I can solemn. I could also clear my board with a torrential, let's say, for that to resolve and hit with a BLS.
Mm.
I elected to fast reaction when I saw the trap. I elected to solemn judgment, which isn't the 100% accurate play. Here, the most accurate play was to allow the torrential to resolve and drop BLS, but I made a read on Night Assailant. I also knew his deck list did not show Reapers throughout the replays earlier in the
Mm.
day. All of his spies are gone. Now, I want to give Rabbit credit here. On his turn, he obviously drew Thunder Dragon. And some of you may be asking, why didn't he discard Thunder Dragon? If he discards Thunder Dragon, he 100% tells me that that set card is a Night Assailant.
Right.
100% my third guy. So he doesn't give me the information that that set monster is a Night Assailant. Now, unfortunately for him, I had other monsters to play, and I was able to attack through with three guys. Regardless of who I attack with, I'm going to get the 1600 damage. But last note on this, here you want to attack with the Kaiku because in a position where he's forced to kill off a different monster than Kaiku, at least you keep the Kaiku on board to prevent any chaos monsters from falling. So
Wow.
just another tip for you guys.
Well, tips for players. Write that down. Write that down. But yeah, if you, I see what you're saying. Like, if they just blow up the fields here, you'll have a clean shot with BLS, and that's just a smooth sail right to. I mean, I think you're
Right,
just sometimes you gotta style a little bit too, man. You gotta have some style with the victories. You want to just let them know that you had it, I suppose.
Sometimes you don't need to flex BLS on somebody.
You don't
Just
have to.
use
Yeah,
them.
you don't want to be dropping BLS all the time. Make them think like, oh, okay, I had a chance. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So they're going into
No,
game two. Side decking. What do you want to talk about your side deck strategy going against Chaos Turbo in this at this time, or do you want to keep your secret? Are you keeping your secrets?
Okay, I'll keep it 100 everybody. I did not side a single card for Chaos Turbo the entire weekend.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. I like that.
And I'll tell you why. Nothing in the side deck comes in, right? Nothing says screams and needs to be played against Chaos Turbo if you look back at the side deck.
Oh,
But the second thing is the two Sakuretsus, even though they're weak game one versus Chaos Turbo, they're much stronger game two. And I know we have the hindsight of seeing his hand here, but when you look at monsters like Berserk Gorilla, when you think about them dropping into Tsukuyomi or Zambyrus, like, these Sakuretsus become more playable than ever. Chaos Sorcerer, BLS, obviously, when they don't put those in defense mode against Warrior because
hmm
they're worried about the ninja. So they try to start attacking directly, and the Sakuretsus play a lot better in game two and three than they do in game one. So
okay.
just for those out there who are playing Warrior against Chaos Turbo strategies, sometimes you may fall victim to oversiding and not drawing mind controls and inconsistent cards when you're probably better off just running it back the way it is.
Send in what you got,
That's all.
man. Maybe that zing might get some mileage if you threw that in there. You might be able to mix that into the mix and see what happens. If you're bold and daring, because they play a lot of Sakus, they're going to bring in the battle traps. You kind of can anticipate that and zing them up for everything they got a couple times. maybe.
This I'll share with you. I was talking to Bobby, just recently jumped on. I know it hurts, but he jumped on the OD team, and I literally sent him a private message earlier, and we were talking about the deck, and one of the comments we made is, when does Zing play? I won't go into too much detail. We'll hold some in-house secrets, but there is a time and place for Zing. You hit on some of it, but I'll leave that to the imagination and the discovery of the community.
Okay, okay, yeah, you get it. You know the vibes out there. Okay, okay, so we're moving on. We're game two. We got some duo on duo action happening here. Both players have seemed to open duo, and we got Tribe Knight Assailant, Serpent Call, and Berserker Gorilla. He got the Gorilla on you game two, and he's going to duo you right away. That sucks, getting duo first. I always tilt a little bit, ever so slightly, whenever I get duoed turn one, and it's ripping your duo too. So that's just filthy with it.
Wow.
That's filthy
So
with it.
that's the most painful piece. Is it's so in any matchup where you're going second and they duo you, you're automatically down the draw plus the card. Now, whenever they snipe a pot or a duo, which sort of balances that, that
Mm.
hurts the most. Because now there's only one card in the deck that'll give me back that one card. So it is what it is at this point. I did discard the Dust Tornado. Some people may discard the Solemn Judgment. It's just a matter of preference here. I
Hmm.
felt like I needed to keep Exiled for a beater, and for a Zambira, a Berserk Gorilla, and then my Blade Knight to stop a flip effect. So those are my two main priorities. So I did keep the Solemn Judgment to protect the Blade Knight.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and tribe out here right away. Pop that gorilla.
Exile, yep.
Or eggs. I saw tribe. Hey, we're gonna exile here. Pop that gorilla. Get him out of here. Set bow. Okay. He's gonna run out the tribe and just try to swing right away. I don't know if I. I don't know if I. I don't know if I like that. Especially if you got this. If you got this serpent and the tribe together. I don't know about that one. But he's trying to push the initiative a little bit.
Yeah, I think he got a little ambitious because he's up the draw, he's up on duo, so he doesn't want me to accumulate cards while being passive.
Mm.
I agree. The proper approach probably would have been to set a sinister, but Exile's gone, and his fear is that I will nobleman the sinister or night assailant. So maybe he's holding for a bigger play later. I perhaps would not have risked my tribe there. So.
Okay. Especially when he's already in combination with his serve, because now you gotta answer this thing. Well, he's got the call too, I suppose. Let's see if
Yep.
that works out for Rabbit.
Here's one thing I notice other players do, and I'll just call it out, is they commit the card in hand to Blade Knight, even though they don't need to set prior to attacking.
Mm.
I don't like to let my opponent know I'm down to no monsters or monsters. So I always wait till after the Blade Knight. It's a main phase two set situation. You never want to set a main phase one, then go into battle phase.
Got
So
it.
just a tip for those out there.
Yeah, just to let him know, like, hey, because sometimes if you just need to boost the blade just off of GP, people just set, slam the blade just to get him up. If you don't, if I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the other thing is when you boost, make sure you're clocking your turns. If there's no difference between 1600 or 2000 damage, don't risk setting too much just to deal the extra four. It could come back to haunt you, but depending if it's a warrior mirror match, for example, that extra 400, knowing that they're going to resolve a couple solemns, it's only 200. Then if
Mm.
they resolve a second solemn, it's only 100. So you're not dealing as much damage as you think you are.
Okay, okay, all right. So we got standby. He's got the wing blast. He got the serpent fodder. Now we'll see. We're gonna just crack in for 2 grand. Not risking differential. Okay.
Here, I think he's still afraid of Nobleman because he's still not trying to commit a monster to the field, despite me just having a single Blade Knight. He could wall out with a Sinister turn after turn. So
Mm.
he's mindful and fearful of that.
Let's see if he goes call sack for Genzo here. I think that's a move that is on the maybe call pitch target berserk.
Yeah. So here I sort of paused, and when he did this, I said, "Is he planning on just ramming? And why not just use Tribe? He must not have discard Father." So I was a little bit confused here until I saw Jinzo, and it all made a little more sense. When I did see Call though, I was immediately mindful of the AJT side deck strategy
Mm-hmm.
with Berserker, Gorilla Call, and Jinzo. So I did tell myself a Jinzo is probably going to come down here. I may need the Solemn. So I was banking on him being a Safari Zone player on an AJT strategy to A, not have solemn judgment to respond to my solemn judgment because I haven't seen it in the replays, and B, when I saw a call to haunt that perhaps there's a Jinzo coming down that I'll solemn. So I'll get a 2 for 1 in this situation with my solemn.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about earlier the card advantage about going first. So he went first on the draw. He dueled me, so he was up a draw. But in a matter of a few turns, he lost. He went -1 on tribe,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's at 2 for 1 on solemn judgment. So if you look at the card advantage now, he's at 4 cards to my 5 on draw. So from being down a card on the draw, I'm up a card on the draw. So something went totally wrong and backwards for Rabbit in this situation, and
I,
that's what it was.
I agree.
So in this
Set the
situation,
swordsman here. That's cool.
yep. So here's the situation here. Most people won't think about this, but I'm looking at the clock and I noticed that he's at 46.
Mm-hmm.
So at 46, if I hit for 16, it brings him down to 3,000. If I were to use 2,000 Blade Knight plus a 900 Mystic Swordsman, it's only 29. So he lives by 100. I can actually hit him here this turn for 2,000. It brings him to 26. So 2,000 plus my 900 Mystic Swordsman level 2 is actually a game shot on the following turn.
Ah, look at that.
I'm playing around Torrential and I'm trying to set up game shots on the following turn, depending if I draw a heavy storm. So that's my mindset here. Now, Blade Knight setting a monster next to him turns off Blade Knight's effect for the flip. So Rabbit may feel more comfortable setting an actual flip effect now in front of Blade Knight. And you'll see on his turn, he actually does commit a flip effect.
But then you just surprise. The little guy flips up, and now you're still in the blender anyway.
Blade Knight's little brother, so he comes out chilling. So he has to torrential here. I totally get it. It leaves me the opportunity to still summon a monster. Here I have to decide whether it's Kaiku or if it's Don. I know he's not on pre, but I still want to go in with the Kaiku to get the material out of the graveyard. In my mind, whatever's in his hand has been dead for the most part, so I'm totally okay with it. Here, he obviously discards the light because he's hoping to top deck a sorcerer or BLS to be live.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want to around, so I get that. And he's fortunate to draw a spy, which
He didn't set.
He didn't set the spy. On my
think
turn, I recommit. I think to me, I'm going to draw the same card. He hasn't knock checked technically because I flipped the swordsman,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't revealed the nobleman to cross out just yet. So I understand why he may knock check me one more time. He hasn't knock checked me yet. So here he MSTs, looking for the nobleman. You can see it. Now I'll pause here real quick.
Okay.
The one thing that the MST did do, which the reason I set my Dawn was if he was going to set another monster, I was going to be able to flip my Dawn Torrential and Kaiku clear the graveyard.
Gotcha.
When he MST'd me, I was like, drat. He ruined my plan. But he was fetching for the knock, so
Okay.
it worked out either way.
Yeah, hitting that turret, that would have just been devastating. You know, getting the big banish here, and then getting the Kaiku to knock your Serpent out of play. That would have been a mess.
Yeah.
I think it worked out. It worked out good for Rabbit on that one. Set the ring, set the Kiko, or summon the Kiko.
Here, by the way, I hit the old one here first because if it is a Night Assailant, it's not a Night Assailant because he would have flipped to destroy my Dawn
Mm-hmm.
the turn before. So the new one could be a Night Assailant, so I have to destroy the old one first, then attack the new one. So just sort of your lines have to match, right?
Got it.
You have to make your sequencing is in order. So the old one is the proper attack first.
He got these guys on you again.
Just like in game one, I have the ring set up for the spy, so I'm just waiting on a ninja. I'm waiting on a tribe. I'm just waiting on one more card here. Kaiku's locking him out, so he's going to grab back his Sinister. So
Nice
fortunate top deck here. My knock that he was checking for. Here he gets the graceful.
Didn't play it. Oh, he does play. Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah.
You gotta get that thing going. Get that thing going, man. Make it happen for yourself.
So immediately here, he discarded the 2 cards he did. I knew he had a fighter, and a BLS. So he gets rid of the Thunder Dragon because he needs to keep as many live cards as possible.
Hmm.
And the discard trap, I was predicting he was going to discard because he wouldn't have the fodder for it, knowing that the Serpent just got banished. So after Graceful, I thought these two were the two cards that were going to go, and maybe he was holding a Snatch, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he just got. I don't know about that one either, man. I think because you get the Regeki break, you can take the Kiko off, and then you can get BLS down. If you just wait another
What,
turn, get another card, I think.
but if he keeps the Regeki break, that means he doesn't have the Berserker Rilla, so he has to wait another draw phase
For another,
in
yeah, for
order
another
to.
card, and then I don't know. That could be something.
It gives me the opportunity to draw Solemns and
Yeah.
additional to BLS. So it's just too many more turns. And I think here I one card. Have to wait one more. In this position, I pass because again, Tribe is one of my outs, along with Ninja and reinforcements to the army.
Mm-hmm.
And I think premature because I think Exile may be in the graveyard. So I have to keep the Blade Knight in hand because I need to be able to support the Tribe if I draw it. So Dust Shoot, same situation. Now I can actually keep my Blade Knight and my Trap Dust Shoot depending on the situation.
Oh yeah, you still had to. You still had the ring though, but yeah, he would have had that. So he would have had been able to get that dust shoot to go off, hit the Kiko and brought down some chaos and probably forced a draw at some point. I think he might have messed that up, but like you said, you never know. You can hindsight. We can hindsight quarterback this thing all day, and
I,
it'll never.
I think
That ain't the right way.
he tilted here. There's no reason why he shouldn't have set Heavy Storm in the situation. I think he sort of had a blind spot of I need to be able to clear Kaiku
Mm-hmm.
heavy BL game, and he blows the opportunity to play around Dust Shoot. And most players at this level are very conscious of playing around Dust Shoot.
Right. Oh yeah.
He played Dust Shoot for free here, which gave me a lot more information than I wanted or needed. So here immediately I played Dust Shoot. He has the upstart, which sort of leaves me blind for one card, but
Yeah,
there's
that's
not much
unfortunate.
information. Card D here only expedites to my outs, so he wasn't going to play Card D. And I draw my Tribe for Spellcaster, and the rest is history.
That's it. That'll
Yeah,
do it, man. GG's, man. GG's well played. I learned a lot. That was dope, man. Shout out to Rabbit again. These tournaments
yeah.
are long. These tournaments are long, and these Patreons, some of the best players in our game show up to these things each time. And it's very, very difficult to just play all. You're playing all day, and you make one slight mistake, one brain fog, one slip, and then it's just curtains for you. So shout out to Rabbit. Hopefully, we continue to see what he's got going on playing these events. He's a dope player as well. But he got the Alvarado got the better of him of that in that time. But I like it. I like that, man. I enjoy having you come by too, man. And I think you definitely have what it takes to be the player of the year 2023. I don't know if you. I don't know. It's going to be very difficult to match what AJT was able to accumulate over this 2022 season. That was a season that will go down in the history books as one of the greatest GOAT format seasons ever. Because of what he was able to accomplish. So that's going to be a tall feat. But setting your own path could be something that you could strive towards. Dope, man.
Nobody keeps score of the final number. They keep track of rings, right? Nobody knows the stats. They just know Jordan got 6 rings, right?
That's all. That's all. That's all we look for. That's all we look for, champ. But hey, man, any special shout outs? Are you going to be back to back MVP for the Go Format World League that is starting this week? So we're almost back into the World League as well.
Yeah, super excited about the War League. Obviously, shout outs to the Oversweep main roster, the Sweep OD, second team that we enrolled, registered this year for the War League. I expect big things for both of us. We're in a heavy duty power conference. The way the conferences broke out, there's definitely a lot of heavy top tiers, but I think we drafted well enough that the mid to lower tier teams, as they are ranked or drafted, are going to perform well in the other conference. So I'm hoping they give enough headaches and enough issues to those top teams, and hopefully 5 teams out of our conference make the playoffs, including us and our Sweep OD unit. So shout outs to everyone on the team. Shout outs to Bobby. I'm taking him under my wing, so to speak, and we're play testing a lot. He's getting a lot of knowledge. He's soaking up a lot, so I'm really appreciative of him being willing to listen and learn. And just shout outs to the new members of the team, Ivan, Ludo, Purple, Spiral. I think they've all added unique touches to our style in the Discord. And I look forward to seeing how the rest of this Go Format World League season plays out. And the S plus plus tier, hopefully we're living up to that reputation. But top to bottom, I think we have the best roster, the deepest roster, and we're gonna go out and perform. And salute to those who accomplished what they did last year. But it's a new year, and the general had to take his jacket off and show his medals. And that's what we're
I'm
doing.
trying to tell you right now, champ. I got nothing but love and admiration and respect for everything you have accomplished in this game. But I'm telling you right now, if you think it's gonna be a cakewalk, you might as well just go ahead and pack a whole lunch because we got some boys and we ready to play and we're gonna do what we got to do. So anything can happen in this Go format game. You got some beasts lurking in the shadows over there in that same conference of power, dude. So look out for it. And if you think it's gonna be
Oh
a
yeah.
cakewalk, that's how you get your bell rung real quick, man. So stay tuned for that. Look out. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. As far as it's gonna go. But hey, man, as always, though, it's dope, man. I love having you to come by. I love having you come by and hear what you got to say, man. You definitely know what the hell you're talking about. Uh, and I,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate it.
you. I appreciate you. And again, last shout out to you, the tournament staff, Scully, Mr. Discord 2005 himself. Uh,
The
that's just
president.
my favorite thing to do. The president 2005.
I love
All
it.
right, be blessed, and I hope the Go community continues to grow and prosper. And I can't wait for the rest of this year to play out. Good luck to all duelists in the War League. Have fun, play well.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, and thank you so much, man.
Adios, man.
Peace. Okay, that was Anthony Alvarado, SJC champion, FLC champion, and now three, three-time Patreon World Championship qualifier winner. Dope player, man. Every time he comes by, I think I pick up a little more information about the game and get a little bit better myself. So hopefully you learn something. Pay attention. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Get into the discussion. Make your comments known. Anthony will be able to read these. So if you have any questions for him, drop those down into the comments and let him know what you think about the deck and about what he had to say about that replay. And make sure if you want to play in these events, get into the Discord as well. There are going to be so many more events happening throughout the rest of the dueling season. Well, that's all I have. As always, I'm JDZ. I play goats. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.